Now at 5, we're going to learn about an effort by the city of Pittsburgh to name its neighborhoods. Plus, when more veteran memorials could go up at Barton County's Memorial Park, and
the U.S. Senate receives the articles of impeachment against DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. I'm Natalie Brandt on Capitol Hill with what could happen next as senators prepare to be sworn in as jurors.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Pittsburgh is proposing naming its neighborhoods and having more defined boundary lines for them. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. KOAM's Fernandez Silva joins us in the studio with details on the proposed change.
Pittsburgh's Neighborhood Advisory Council published an online survey to gather feedback on the proposed changes. The goal of the neighborhood map is to create community pride and foster a sense of shared ownership. The neighborhood names suggested are placeholders until the city hears back from the community. Citizens are welcomed to share their perspectives and suggestions.
When we feel like we own our neighborhood and our neighbors care about the neighborhood and everybody's working together and connected, we have healthier neighborhoods.
Would anybody want to change all this in the first place? It's part of our history.
The survey also asks other questions regarding Pittsburgh neighborhoods, including concerns and favorite things about the area of the city where participants live. To learn how to give your input in the survey, go to our website at koamnewsnow.com. Dow, back to you.
Fernanda, thanks. The Barton County Memorial Park in Lamar, Missouri is growing. The park currently features 7 monuments honoring veterans, 6 of which focus on specific conflicts. The 7th documents the history of the land where the park sits. Park officials are in the process of adding another monument, this one to honor first responders.
So we got a couple areas that we're working on with the park right now. We've got one big area. It's probably going to be our last area. It's a first responder memorial. I say last big project because we want to keep a lot of green space here. We don't want to fill it up with concrete. So it's a first responder memorial dedicated to 2 first responders here from Lamar.
Barton County Memorial Park is at 102 West 2nd Street in Lamar. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy for a first look at the weather.
Well, it definitely turned out to be another warm one for us today. Also very windy across the region. Still, the winds are kicking in. We had those southwesterly winds at about 15 to 20 miles per hour. And then we're getting gusts at times anywhere from 30 to 40. We've even pushed 50 at times throughout the afternoon hours. Thankfully, these winds are going to slowly calm down as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight. So a much lighter wind tomorrow, and then they'll pick up again tomorrow night, and then as we head into Thursday. Severe weather kind of skirted around us, which is great. So all the big storms now, eastern Missouri, all the way up through parts of Iowa, but we don't have to worry about anything in our neck of the woods, at least for tonight. It's going to stay warm and windy. Thunderstorms again tomorrow night into Thursday. Some of those could be severe, so we're going to be talking about that coming up here in just a bit.
Doug, thanks. Joplin police today arrested a man wanted for felony warrants out of Newton County. The Noel Marshal's office had been searching for Jordan Jennings, who, in addition to the warrants, was allegedly seen on security footage stealing a pickup truck, which was recovered yesterday. Police arrested Jennings without incident in the 1600 block of South Grand Avenue. Senate Republicans are still trying to figure out a way to force Democrats in the Senate to take up the trial of the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas after he was impeached over his handling of the border. Natalie Brand has details from Capitol Hill.
Impeachment managers made the ceremonial walk from the U.S. House to the Senate, delivering articles of impeachment against Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas.
I announce the presence of managers on the part of the House of Representatives to conduct proceedings on behalf of the House concerning the impeachment of Alejandro Nicolas Mayorkas, Secretary of Homeland Security.
Senators will be sworn in as jurors on Wednesday. Democratic Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says he wants the issue addressed as quickly as possible.
Impeachment should never be used to settle a policy disagreement.
House Republicans accuse Mayorkas of not enforcing federal immigration laws and breaching public trust.
Alejandro N. Mayorkas is willful and systemic refusal to comply with the law has had a calamitous consequence for the nation.
GOP lawmakers are pushing for a full trial in the Senate, but some say they're concerned Democrats could table or dismiss the charges instead.
Immigration's one of the top issues across the country, and I think Schumer's going to do everything he can to avoid having those folks take a tough vote.
The politics of the issue was on full display as Mayorkas testified at a budget hearing Tuesday.
The open border is the #1 issue across America in poll after poll. And that is exactly why this committee impeached you.
Secretary Mayorkas defended his department's work and made the case for more funding.
With the resources and the authorities that we have been provided, it is as secure as we can make it.
The Biden administration calls the impeachment effort baseless and urges Republicans to pass legislation to help secure the border. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
The Senate's going to swear in the jurors at 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. Former President Trump railed against the charges he faces returning to the courtroom in Manhattan today in his criminal trial. The presumptive Republican presidential nominee is facing 34 felony counts related to alleged hush money payments to adult film star Stormy Daniels through his former lawyer Michael Cohen. Prosecutors claim Trump falsified business records, saying it was an attempt to cover up an alleged affair ahead of the 2016 presidential election. Trump denies any wrongdoing. The Supreme Court today heard arguments that could impact hundreds of defendants in the January 6th attack on our U.S. Capitol, and even a case against former President Trump. At issue is a statute that came out of the Enron scandal the government has been using to charge January 6 defendants with felony obstruction. The court is considering whether federal prosecutors correctly charged the more than 350 defendants. Still ahead, how an innovative program is helping people with autism find jobs. Plus, why a trade group is calling on the makers of melatonin supplements to improve the labeling and packaging of their products. Those stories next in Health Watch. Topping today's Health Watch, a new vaccine strategy may eliminate the guesswork when targeting future strains of viruses, including the flu and COVID-19. Working with mice, scientists at UC Riverside created an RNA-based strategy to target part of a virus that is common in all strains. Researchers say the vaccine is also safe for babies and the immunocompromised. April is Autism Acceptance Month. An innovative program at a New Jersey hospital is helping people with autism find jobs. Stephanie Stahl has more.
Hi, Sarah. Good morning. Welcome to Jefferson. We want to try to make them feel happy and make them feel comfortable. I'll take care of her. Hi, ma'am.
Eric Carlson is a greeter at Jefferson Cherry Hill Hospital.
It's changed my whole life, which I'm grateful for.
How?
It's just made me very happy. I love working with people. Ms. Zing, I'll bring you to the desk.
Eric is a graduate of Project Search, a program of the Yale School that does job training and placement for people with disabilities.
Fourth floor, first office.
Eric went through a 10-month training program designed for students with autism and related disorders. And they're in different departments.
They're all in separate departments, yes, working independently.
Ernie Lux is an instructor for Project Search.
A lot of people think that just because somebody has a disability, everybody looks at what they can't do. Where we turn it around and we look at what they're good at and what they can do, and then we build on that.
Jefferson usually has about 6 project interns and has hired 40% of them for jobs at the hospital.
And as they gain different skills, they have more autonomy in different roles, but they always are assigned an employee to work with.
We have so much stuff back here.
Owen Marple is a current intern working in the pharmacy.
Project Search is about giving people on the spectrum a chance to work in a real-world environment, and in my case especially, it's helping with social skills because I'm not exactly the most social person.
Owen, who's 21, is grateful for the opportunity and wants people to know this about being on the autism spectrum.
It doesn't make me too different from everyone else. It's not cooties for one.
Right.
Like I may be a little bit different, but that's what makes me me.
And we're all different in our own special way. Stephanie Stahl, CBS News.
Jefferson Cherry Hill has been working with interns from that program since 2016. A leading trade group for dietary supplements is asking makers of melatonin supplements to tighten standards following a rise in ER visits among kids taking the drug. The Council for Responsible Nutrition is giving those supplements producers 18 to 24 months to voluntarily add child deterrent packaging and improve cautionary language on labels of the over-the-counter products. Melatonin regulates the body's natural sleep-wake cycle, but as a dietary supplement is not federally regulated. Women who experience medical issues during pregnancy, such as preterm delivery or preeclampsia, have an elevated risk of death more than 40 years later. A study published in JAMA Internal Medicine looked at more than 2 million women in Sweden. Those who had one of the 5 adverse outcomes ended up with a higher risk of death from conditions like cardiovascular disease, respiratory disorders, and diabetes. And that is a look at today's health news. Doug is next with a complete look at our forecast, and a little bit later, how you can support a nonprofit providing equipment and resources to local first responders.
Well, of course, a very warm and windy day for us today. We've been very warm over the past couple days, and we're going to stay warm again as we go through the next couple days. We hit 80s yesterday, 80s once again for us today, but also very windy across the region. We have those southwesterly winds, 15, 20, 25 miles per hour, but at times we're getting those gusts way up there between 40 and 50 miles per hour. Good news here is the winds are slowly going to die down as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight, and then really start to pick up again by tomorrow night into Thursday as our next wave starts to head in our direction. All the severe weather pretty much skirted around us, which is good news. We have had storms across northern parts of Missouri, eastern Missouri, but all the big severe weather up through parts of Iowa, now through Illinois. So we are in good shape, at least for tonight and tomorrow, and then we'll start to see some changes again. You can see our upper level low. There's a little back wave that is going to rotate through, and as it does so, it will give us some scattered thunderstorms tomorrow night and then into Thursday. So we are going to have a low severe threat. This is a level 1 out of 5. This is tomorrow night and then into Thursday. But until then, I think we look okay. Let me take you through time tonight. We're going to drop back mid-50s for overnight lows. As we go through the daytime hours tomorrow, mid-70s to upper 70s by noon. Plenty of sunshine. I think most of us will go up to about 83 or 84 degrees tomorrow afternoon. There is a warm front kind of draped through the region tomorrow night. So here's 10 p.m. Scattered thunderstorms start to pop up and lift off toward the north and to the east. The ones that do get going most likely are going to be strong to at least low-grade severe. So we got to keep our eyes on this as we go into tomorrow night. Then they're going to be out of here by Thursday morning, but here comes the cold front. So this is Thursday, slides in, and we're going to have scattered thunderstorms late morning into the early afternoon hours. Also, those could be strong to low-grade severe. Then we just sit with the clouds and we start to cool down late Thursday, and then we drop back all the way down into the 40s by the time we head into Friday morning. So we're going to cool off as we go toward the weekend. Not tomorrow. It's going to be warm. 57 in the morning, 77 by noon. High temp up to 84 degrees. Now behind this system, quite a bit cooler as we head into the weekend. Look at this, only near 60 on Saturday as we have a storm system that skirts to our south. So it's going to be a cooler weekend for us Saturday and Sunday. And then thunderstorms back in the forecast. This is going to be late Monday, another round late Tuesday into Wednesday, and some of those also could be strong to possibly severe. So a lot to watch over the next week. 84 tomorrow, thunderstorms tomorrow night and on Thursday. High of 80 on Thursday, and then only 63 Friday, 60 Saturday, 61 on Sunday, and then thunderstorms increasing again by next Tuesday and Wednesday. Dow?
Doug, thanks. We hope you join us Thursday for our Hero Fund USA Telethon. During our noon, 5 and 6 p.m. newscast, we're going to have volunteers standing by to take your calls and donations. All the money raised will support Hero Fund USA, which partners with local first responders to provide them with equipment and safety resources.
Well, it helped us out a lot at the time because bunker gear is so expensive. and it's very hard to afford when you are on a small budget operating the district with your stuff.
You can also donate through our website. Of course, that's KOAMnewsnow.com. Coming up, why a union of American Airlines pilots is warning others about safety issues related to the carrier. Topping today's Consumer Watch, Facebook and Instagram's response to deep fake pornography is under review by their parent Meta's oversight board. The board today said it will review how Meta addressed explicit AI-generated nude photos of two female public figures from different countries. This comes amid growing concerns that artificial intelligence is fueling a rise in the creation of fake, explicit photos as a form of harassment. The Oversight Board is working to determine if the company has appropriate measures in place to address the content. The pilots union at American Airlines reports a significant spike in safety and maintenance related problems at the carrier, and is telling pilots to be vigilant. The union's concerns are spelled out in a memo obtained by CBS News. As Chris Van Cleve reports, the nation's airlines are already under growing pressure over safety.
An American Airlines 777 being pushed back from the gate in Miami essentially was backed into another plane last month, a type of incident among a host of concerns Americans Pilots Union brought to company executives.
We're seeing the walls of the safety margin get squeezed in.
Union spokesman Captain Dennis Tazier.
So we're telling our pilots, slow down, take your time, and watch for these potential errors because they're starting to increase across the system.
In a memo to its 16,000 pilots, the union listed a series of problematic trends, including tools left in wheel wells, like this hammer. The Allied Pilots Association says it was found last month before a flight left Phoenix for Cedar Rapids, Iowa. The union says maintenance discovered other tools inside the wheel well and noted there were no open maintenance actions at the time of discovery. Also of concern, APA says, an increasing number of collisions between aircraft being tugged or towed and pressure to return aircraft to service.
If these allegations are true, then they certainly need to be investigated and resolved.
The memo comes as competitor United is undergoing an FAA audit after a series of concerning incidents this year. In a statement, American says our robust safety program is guided by our industry-leading safety management system. It includes a multitude of collaborative programs and regular touch points with the FAA and all of our unions to further bolster our strong safety record. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News in Las Vegas.
The Justice Department is planning to file an antitrust lawsuit against Live Nation. Live Nation, which is the parent company of Ticketmaster, has faced issues in the past over its dominance in the ticketing industry. Critics suggest it's only able to raise ticket prices because of a lack of competition. But Live Nation claims prices are determined by the artists, teams, and venues, as well as supply and demand. Final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, an investigation into a hotbed of illegal marijuana farms, how they're operating in rural America, and the ties some have to Chinese criminal organizations. And then on KOAM News at 6, we're going to have more on the efforts to give names to some of the neighborhoods in Pittsburgh. Plus, the Neosho Arts Council kicks off a free concert series tonight. We're going to give you a preview. And Crowder College baseball hosts Fort Sky Community College in a battle of two of the best JUCOs in the nation. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Now let's check back in with Doug.
It's going to be a pretty calm night for us tonight. We're going to drop back to about 56 degrees and the winds will slowly die down as we go through the night. 84 on your Wednesday. Scattered thunderstorms tomorrow night into Thursday. Some of those could be strong to low-grade severe. And then clearing out, but also cooling down Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Thanks, Doug, and thank you for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next, and of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. See you then. Let's make it a great evening.